Stu Armstrong with interviews that pack a punch.
Hello and welcome to Radio Northumberland. My name is Stu Armstrong and this is the Stu Armstrong interview. On each show I interview someone from the world of combat sports. My background, as you may know, is the author of the Diaries of a Doorman series of books and the patron of the charity Choose Lives Not Knives. Tonight we have a very special show for you with a guest who is probably having one of the biggest fights of his life tomorrow. The man himself, Stevan The Killer Miller. He's taken time out of his busy schedule to be grilled for your listening pleasure. So hiya Stevan, thanks very much for joining us.
Yeah, my pleasure. Hello to everybody out there.
Great stuff. First of all, you're 6'7", so I need to watch myself. Do I call you Stevan or is it just Mr. Killer?
Steven or Steve or Cyril or anything. Really? Don't call me late for my dinner.
How did you get the nickname, The Killer?
No, I mean, to be honest with you, it's not something that I particularly like. It's it's a little bit embarrassing, but that'll be down to Jerry Gorman of the Gorman family.
Yeah.
My first ever promoter in the unlicensed boxing scene. Still a very good friend, still promotes me now when we're doing licensed boxing.
Yeah.
And, it's a little bit of a play on words. Obviously, it doesn't take a genius to come up with Miller rhymes with Killer. And the fact that probably every one of my fights ended pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So, that was it, really.
Well, it's
I've not killed anybody.
Not yet.
For the benefit of the tape.
Not yet, anyway.
No.
Or you can tell us about that when we stop recording if you want.
Okay, mate, will do.
Thanks for joining us on the eve of your big title fight tomorrow. Could you tell us a little about it?
Yeah, I mean, I've been looking for this fight for a little while. Opponent, obviously, Decker Heggie. He's built up quite a reputation for himself through Facebook and YouTube and the like, and challenged myself to prove a point, to see what he's made of. And tomorrow we're going to do that. So fair play for him for accepting the challenge.
Yeah.
In fact, it was a little bit late. I wanted to do it when he was with Bieber, but that didn't happen. So when he went out on his own, fair play to him. His manager rang me, and so I accepted it immediately.
Great
so
stuff.
It was probably something he did want to do, but it was just not allowed. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Who knows? But it's going ahead tomorrow anyway. You're the much bigger man, 6'7", 20 stone. Do you think this will help you or hinder you in the fight?
It's one of them. I mean, I've never had a problem being the bigger man in a fight, but to be honest with you, I don't think I've ever fought anyone of Decker's ability, and he most definitely has improved exponentially in the last year with the help of his coach, who I've got a lot of respect for. Patrick, he's a nice bloke, and he clearly seems to know what he's doing. So we'll see. That's all I can say. From what I've seen, he's not fought anyone as big as me. I'm not only just a big bloke, I can, believe it or not, move around quite well for the size of me. And, there's a little bit of sting in them punches. So we'll just wait and see. Well, I'm expecting him to come out like excuse the pun, a raging bull. So
I knew that was coming.
Yeah, get that one in, raging bull. So I'm expecting that. So I'm just going to have to weather the storm a little bit, try and get my range. I think they're expecting me to fight on the outside, but like I've said previously, I've got more than one string to my bow. So yeah, we'll see.
I've got to say, I mean, I've watched a few of your videos on YouTube, and I think for the size of man that you are, you surprised me with the speed that you've got. You really did. Yeah.
I mean, that one, the last one, with me rolling and everything. We actually weren't training. That was done. We were called in. It was like a week after I'd had a fight, and we were called in by the Leicester Mercury, and they wanted us to do a quick video. Now, I'm not somebody who can fight cold, and we just literally went and did 1 minute, and that was it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I wasn't at my fastest or my most accurate there because I need to warm up a little bit. It was just one of them off the cuff things that we did. And I can say this probably the night before, but you don't really think I'll be fighting like that, do you? 6'7" and rolling. No, I don't.
Oh. Well, I wouldn't have thought so, but
you never know. If it was somebody the same height as me, perhaps.
Yeah.
I start rolling against somebody who's nearly a foot shorter than me, I'm going to get tagged.
Yeah, you're right there.
Yeah.
I was talking to a friend of yours a couple of days ago, John Chopper Stone from Zombie MMA.
Lovely fella, yeah.
Well, I've got to admit, he's an absolutely lovely bloke. I feel like I've known him for years.
Yeah, one of them, yeah.
Well, his interview's on the show Tuesday night at 9 o'clock. Little plug there. He's been telling us about some of the training that you've been doing together. I think it was a few days over last week. I think it was yourself, him, and a young lad called Ashley.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What's your training regime in general been like in the run up to this fight?
Well, it's been well documented for the month over Christmas. I was actually working on a close protection job in Australia.
Yeah.
So, training wasn't that easy, but, I managed to get quite a little bit of pad work in with one of my working colleagues. I also got some training in with the great Mark Hunt, the Super Samoan in Sydney. The UFC fighter who had the fight with Wanderlei Silva, I think it was, or something like that. When they both ended up bright red with blood, it was, a fantastic fight. So that was good. But to be honest with you, on December the 6th, I had a 6-round fight with gloves on. So, it was basically about ticking over because before that, I'd done 8 weeks solid training anyway. So. And then since I've been back for the last 2 weeks, we've set it up. My trainer's very, very confident. So we'll see. We'll see, indeed.
Well, I'm sure you know this question is going to come, the $1 million question. Who do you think is going to win this fight and why?
Well, yeah, I have to think I'm going to win. I have to think I'm going to win, but that's no disrespect to Deck and my opponent.
Yeah.
I've certainly got to be on my guard. I think it's going to be a very good fight. It could end quickly. Why do I think I'm going to win? I just think perhaps I've got a little bit too much power, something that he's not really had to face in the world of bare knuckle boxing before. And if I do catch him, he'll know about it, and then I'll test his heart, which it's all well and good saying all these things, but when you get hit with 21 stone, with no gloves on, you're going to know about it. It's exactly the same as I'll know about it if he catches me, but I know that I won't give in. So. Yeah,
I mean that's one of the things I love about bare knuckle. I think you get hit with one good point that can end the fight either way.
Yeah. Definitely, absolutely. I'm under no illusions that it could end quickly. It could end either way quickly.
Yeah.
Just got to keep them arms sucked in, stay tight, and fight from the guard. That's what you can do. I know there's going to be a few lads there from Carlisle tomorrow, which actually made me laugh a little bit when he said, this is not mocking him at all, be careful because hell's coming with me. He's obviously never been to Ayers Monthly in Leicester because, believe me, it's waiting for him. There's going to be 400 or 500 Leicester lads there, and they're not going to make it easy for more of his followers. So, it's going to be a hostile environment, and I think it's definitely going to be safer inside the ring.
I think it may be by the sounds of that.
Definitely.
I mean, if you win this Raging Bull title, who do you think is going to be your next challenger that you'll defend your title to?
I believe Big Andy Hillhouse has been mentioned, but I'm not one to. I think it's a little bit disrespectful for me to talk about a future opponent. I've still got to beat Deck, and that's not an easy thing. So, I respect that you've got to ask these questions, but that's out of my hands.
Yeah.
It's not out of my hands whether I win, that's firmly in my hands, but the opponent after that is out of my hands, and, one of them. But I believe it's Andy Hillhouse. Yeah. For either person, whether Deck wants to do that or not, I don't know.
Yeah, I've heard Andy's name sort of bandied about for something in the future, but you never know what's true and what's not in this game, I don't think.
Well, no, there's a lot of farting around and fanning around. Let's be honest with you.
I mean,
for bare knuckle boxing, there's a few gossips and windbags, isn't there?
Oh, there is that.
But,
Well, I was thinking of throwing out a challenge to you, but I think I'll let you off just this once.
well, you better make it quick because I'm away for the whole summer anyway.
Oh, damn it. Maybe next year then.
Don't worry about it, mate. You're a northerner at the end of the day. Yeah?
Well, that's it. One of us northern monkeys. I've got to say to the listeners out there, I do deserve this because I've had quite a few technical problems tonight. I've messed you about a lot, and he's been an absolute gentleman about it. Because if it was me, I would have said, "On your bike, mate." So thanks for that.
I just like to hear the sound of my own voice, mate. To be honest with you, so.
Well, why do you think I do this?
Hopefully, you get paid for one.
Oh, definitely not community radio, but it's all over the world. That's the beauty of it.
Good enough, mate. Good enough.
That's it. Can you see yourself staying in BKB, or do you think you would go solely back to gloved, or?
I don't see why you can't do both, mate. To be honest with you, I mean, I've got a super heavyweight title fight on the 21st of February.
Yep.
Again, fighting for the Gormans and Hopkins promotions, which, you know, I'm going to plug it a little bit. For me, is by none the best unlicensed boxing promotions there is. We fight at a place called the Athena in Leicester, where they get 3,000 people in there.
Yeah.
It's you know, it's like another world, and as you're walking down to that ring, there's no better buzz. I'm telling you, no better buzz.
I think I may just come down there. I've not been to Leicester for a long time.
Yeah.
I've not been there for a long time.
More than welcome, mate. There'll be a ticket there for you, definitely.
Great
So
stuff.
that'll be a very tough fight against a tough lad called Martin Waplington.
Yeah.
So, you know, again, I can only think of tomorrow, and hopefully I'll still be in fit enough shape to fight on the 21st of February. You never know, I might have a broken jaw, or I might have broken hands, you never know.
Well, it's one of these things. It could be a dangerous game.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like the old adage goes, it's not tiddlywinks, is it?
That's it. Do you think, sort of, with these big fights coming up, that, I mean, your full-time profession is in close protection, sort of bodyguarding, there's some quite rich and famous people. Do you think you would ever move away from that and sort of fight full-time?
Because the money's not in there, mate. The money's not in it for me to do that.
Yeah.
Without sounding like a bit of a big head or an idiot, I mean, you know, I do get very, very well paid for my day job. So, and it's a day rate. So, at the minute, no. At the minute, no. But you never know in the future if the boys, you know, the likes of Bieber and Raging Bull and Andy Topliff can all join together and sort something out and be friends, and you know we can I think it can start moving places, and the person will become greater, and you know it'd be more of an incentive to look in that sort of direction. But to be honest with you, man, I'm 35, you know.
Yeah.
Let some of these young lads carry on. Hopefully after I've won this title, I've done a couple of defences of it. You never know.
Yeah. Don't knock it, I wish I was still 35.
I feel every year of it, I tell you.
Stu Armstrong with interviews that pack a punch.
Moving away from the fighting a little bit, you live a bit of a glamorous life as a bodyguard to the rich and famous all over the world. I know you've been in Australia recently, but I understand it's not something you can talk about that much. You can tell us when we'll stop recording, maybe. What's it like? Is it like Kevin Costner in the Bodyguard film, or is that totally far removed?
Well, I don't get propositioned as many times as he does. It's not completely dissimilar. I think what you see with him is quite a good depiction of working for a music artist, to be honest with you. He's, he's under... He shouldn't be a one-man band, for one. You know, he's got a hard job, he's got no help around him, and that's what it's like working for people in the music industry, because there's just not the budget there, where there should be, especially when somebody needs the security. So, yeah, for me, that's a pretty good depiction of somebody in his position, yeah.
Well, when I was doing some research for this interview, if anybody Googles Steve's name, one of the stories he'll come up with There's a story about it tends to be called the Justin Bieber incident. I mean, I've read it. I think it's pretty funny, to be honest. Would you let listeners know what happened? And please tell us you did give him a slap. I hope.
Well, I was working for a rich, a wealthy client during the Cannes Film Festival, and we were in a nightclub, and my client had basically rented out the VIP area, and Justin Bieber was one of his guests, and I was walking around just making sure everything was all right, and somebody went close to him, and he sort of like grabbed me and was like, "Hey man, don't let anybody come in." And I'm like, "Excuse my language, do you think you're talking to?" You know, because I wasn't working for this like you.
Yeah.
And then he got a bit snotty and started pushing me. Then his bodyguards got involved, and you know, I got a little bit hairy and a little bit angry. And the manager, the owner of the club, actually came running over and was, you know, pleading with me not to continue it. And he actually told them, you know, if you've got any sense, just leave this one, eh? And they did, and Justin Bieber actually apologised to me, which I begrudgingly accepted. And months later, I went to the same nightclub. I'd been away working, and I went in with two girls that I knew, and I saw the owner, and he was like, "Steven, good to see you, you know, all that." And like, he said, "You have that table over there." I said, "I can't afford that table. It's a minimum spend of, I don't know, €20,000. And he says, "No, please take it. That's for not hitting Justin Bieber that night." We didn't need that bad publicity, so go over there and order what you want, and we did. So, and the girls were quite impressed, so it was worth it.
Well, you can't go much far wrong with that. So, how did you end up getting into this line of work then, travelling the world with the rich and famous? You know, you're a normal lad growing up in Leicester. Yeah. It's worlds apart.
Massive amount of luck, mate. A massive amount of luck. I was taken under the wing of a guy called Pete Bradshaw, who was an excellent martial artist. He was actually a grandmaster in some sort of kung fu. And they called him the polite white bear over in China. I mean, he was 6'5", something like that. And it was a 65, something like that, when I first met him. And he was a notorious, I want to choose my words carefully. Let's say he had some notoriety about him, put it that way. And, you know, he also had a place in France, in the south of France. And I was getting myself into a little bit of trouble at a young age, you know, and he saw something in me. So he decided he was going to take me to the south of France and introduce me to his friend called Paul Butler. Now, Paul is ex-Irish Special Forces, Army Ranger Wing, you know, anti-terrorist, you know, anti-IRA, not anti-IRA, but so he was sort of in the war against the IRA. And, you know, at that point, and still now, he's pretty much the top man in the game. Yeah. So, again, I was lucky enough to meet him, and I still work with him now. And he's been a great teacher for me, a great role model. And, you know, he's took me everywhere with him and taught me everything. So, you know, I'm very, very lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the right place at the right time, you know, to me.
Well, if you ever need anyone to carry your bags, just give it a shout.
I will do, mate, yeah.
Make them small bags, though. I don't know if this is something you're allowed to say, but can you tell us some of the famous people that you've looked out for?
Yeah, Will Smith, Madonna, Snoop Dogg, P. Diddy, Avril Lavigne. There's a lot of rich people that, you know, you have to sign confidentiality agreements with, which I can't say, but I can say, and you can probably work out who it is. I worked for a man who, for the 6 months I was working for him, was the richest man in the world. Yeah. And he goes between number 1 and number 2, and he's not Mexican. So, don't want to be an idea. So that was very interesting. Who else? Rod Stewart, Tina Turner. Oh, quite a man.
Yeah, some big names there.
Yeah, some big names. Yeah.
I bet you've got an idea of what's coming next. Who would you say is the best celebrity that you've looked after?
Best. That's a hard one, really. I mean, Tina Turner was lovely. You know, it was like your nana. That's she didn't look like, you know, but she would. That's the way she acted, you know. she was really quite caring.
Yeah.
Robert Patterson, I really liked him at the time. I've heard he's changed a little bit since then. That's the guy from Twilight, but he was a real cool lad.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt, he's somebody that I was quite starstruck with. I don't get starstruck very easily, but he's a really cool bloke.
Could that be something to do with the bare knuckle scenes and Snatch?
Well, I wasn't really involved in that then, but I really liked him.
Yeah.
He was a really nice bloke.
Yeah.
And he made an effort, made a real effort to make you feel comfortable in his presence and be friendly with you. So, yeah. But saying that, there's some really not so nice people, which I'm not going to go into.
Well, that was the next question, and you nicely sidestepped that one. So we'll move on.
I'll do that one, mate. Sorry.
Is there anybody sort of who you would, who you've never worked for, who you've never looked out for, never bodyguarded?
Bieber.
Can you imagine his face?
Not a chance. A career ruiner. Yeah.
Well,
in fact, I was fortunate. When I was in Sydney, we had to pick up a local guy to work with us on the job, and Ian Norrington, his name was, superb fella. Actually, he was one of Lenny McLean's proteges.
Yeah.
He had a lot of great stories, but also he was chief of security for Justin Bieber a certain amount of time ago. Before I had the pleasure of meeting Justin, and it's safe to say he's happily removed himself from that situation. But he's a great fella.
Yeah, good stuff.
Got some great stories about the real governor from him.
Yeah.
Some real crackers, yeah.
He would have been somebody good to meet. Certainly would have been on my list.
Sorry?
I'm saying Lenny certainly would have been one of the people on my list to meet.
Oh, God, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, me too. And as like Ian was saying, you hear all these stories, and he was a larger-than-life character. He really was. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Have you ever had any sort of close calls where you've had to spring into action to look out for your principal?
Yeah, absolutely. Not really many of them go into detail, but I've been, I've had some black eyes before, and we've been surrounded by some yardies in a casino in the Caribbean where we've had to outthink them more than outfight them. You know what I mean? Because
yeah.
Because of the size, I'm always what you would call number one to the client, which means the person that's always stuck to them. Right? So the people, when it's the rich people, they can afford a proper team. So they'll be looking at me, the potential attackers, if you like, or kidnappers or whatever. They'll be looking at me as the one to take out. They won't look around and see the team of guys that we've got there watching them, watching me. So we were able to outthink them and just get out of there with no problem. Yeah. Although they did make chase a little bit, but no problem.
You're still yet to tell the tale anyway, that's the main
thing. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for bringing in your training schedule the night before the fight.
Oh no, we haven't got a fight tomorrow. Forgot about that. Thanks for reminding me.
You forgot about it?
I did for a minute. You got me into a world of celebrity.
Do you want us to ring you back first thing in the morning, just in case you forget?
Wake me up, mate. Say, come on, you got to get up. Yeah, probably a good idea.
Well, that's absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for speaking to everyone here at Radio Northumberland. I really appreciate it. And I'm sure everyone will be wishing you the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Stu Armstrong with interviews that pack a punch.